Hey tribe, welcome to my channel. I'm your captain, Tuguma. Thank you for taking the time to stopping by and subscribing. Or you haven't done that yet, I'm gonna give you a quick second to go ahead and do that. Just go ahead, hit that button, subscribe, okay? So, I'm starting a new series called Building Legacy. I'll be interviewing inspiring individuals who are making a big impact in their communities while building a legacy for their families. Most of them will be immigrants who left their home countries for a better life, and others will be individuals who returned to their home countries to make an impact. On this very first episode, I'm very excited to bring you a man that I admire, a man from my home country, Burundi, also known as the heart of Africa. His story is so inspirational and motivational. He came to the United States as a refugee not too long ago and has become one of the most talked about restaurateurs in Detroit, Michigan, and nationally. His restaurant has won Eater's Best New Restaurants in America in 2021, Esquire's Best New Restaurants in America in 2022. Him and his wife have been James Beard's Semifinalists twice in 2022 and 2023. And most recently, he won Food Network's Chopped. His name is Mamba Hamissi, and he's the co-owner of Baobab Fare. So sit back, relax, and let's build a legacy. Mamba, welcome to Tuguma, Dori. All right, it's an honor to have you as my very first guest on this series that's all about inspiring the future of Africa and specifically the future of Burundi. Now, if you could please let us know first, the first things first, we gotta get certain things out of the way first. Can you please tell us where is Baobab Fare located exactly? Let's get that out of the way.
So Baobab Fare is an East African Burundi restaurant created in Detroit. Our address is 6568 Woodward, just right there on Woodward Avenue. We've been operating since 2 years, 2021, that's when we opened. And then, yeah, that is what we are doing. We have online too. We created a new line of products that you can find on Soko by Baobab Fare. So we have Soko by Baobab Fare, we have Baobab Fare, and Waka as a street food.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We will put the link to the website in the description, but I wanted you to first know where the location is. If there's anything you're going to get from this, I need you to get the location so you can test out his food. But let's rewind the clock a little bit. Can you just tell us your journey of how you came to the United States? What made you come to the United States?
So I moved here in 2015. The first time coming to the United States. John, my wife, who was here 2 years before, 2.5 before, both became as a refugee. And at that time, she was living in a shelter called Freedom House. So I joined them. I couldn't see my kids for 2 years. I saw them for the first time. They were 2 years old. And, I didn't speak English at that time. I didn't know anything. You can imagine, if you know better, Detroit or Michigan, the weather is brutal sometimes in winter. So I came in the month of November. So from Burundi to Detroit, the weather was very, very, cold for me. And I became dad for the first time. Everything was new for me. Everything was huge for me. That's how I came. And then I found myself in Detroit, without asylum, without a work permit, staying home. I stayed home almost for 1 year before I get my work authorization. And from there, I start, the first thing when you move in a new place is what? You have to learn the language and start watching cartoons with kids. At that time, they were 2 years old, starting to pick up some words. So I would learn from them and I watch a lot of cartoons. That's how I learned. I didn't took any class. I taught myself everything. And yeah, that's what I did.
That's amazing. That's amazing to hear, because there's so many of us that have shared that same similar story of coming to the United States, not speaking the language, and we all had different ways of learning the language. So it's amazing that actually here you didn't officially learn English, you just had to use whatever you had at hand at the time. So
when you came to the United States, joining your wife and children you had not seen for 2 years, what was your initial goal in terms of like how you're going to support your family as an African man? What were your thoughts? What are you going to do once you reach the United States?
So first of all, coming and leaving Burundi, I was the one who was supporting my family back home, my mom, my siblings, and I remember me leaving. Everybody was devastated because they was like, where are we gonna be without your support, right? And then from there, I decided to disconnect with my family. I remember not talking to my mom for almost 6 months because I knew if something happened there, I'm not gonna be able to solve any problem. I was like, I have to focus here. So I was so disappointed. And then me coming here, even my colleagues, my coworkers was like, you are making the worst mistake ever. You're going there, you have a good job here, you have a good life here. You're going, I was like, first of all, I want to join my family. I never seen my kids. I have to start from zero. So I have that thing like, hey, I have to make it happen. And when I remember getting my work authorization, trying to apply on different jobs. I have a background in marketing and sales. I couldn't get any job. And I was like, okay, so my parents made a lot of sacrifices to send me and my siblings to school with the little they had. What I'm becoming if I'm not finding a job. I couldn't find a job, right? I ended up in a factory working, long hours, but I knew that I have to change something. Especially when you reach out to your, brothers and sisters from Burundi or from Africa, it's like, hey, what kind of job that we can do here, right? I remember they used to ask me, the only job that you could do in Detroit at that time is either to go to be a butcher or to work in at the airport, like cleaning, housekeeping, something like that. I used to tell guys like, I wanna bring the third job, the third option to the table. I was like, so somebody else who can come. So we have, at that time we used to have only 2 options. I was like, I wanna be the one who's gonna bring the third option. And that third option is when I get the job in the auto industry, it's automotive factory. I was like, I was coming to the shelter. I was like, hey, dude, you know what? I was telling my friend, you know what? I brought the third option. So now we have airport, we have butcheries, and we have the automotive industry, factories. And so getting there, I was like, yeah, there's something that we should do. But while living at Freedom House, I was so lucky to go through this entrepreneurship program with Prosperous Detroit. I just want to say thank you to them because that was the beginning of seeing that there is a possibility that you can have and start a business. I remember one day we had to visit different businesses, and then I went through this. I went to visit this small shop. They sell candles. I was like, candles? Really? Downtown? You can sell candle? I can do better than this. I think that was the click in my mind. If someone can sell candles, I make it. I have a lot of ideas that I got something I can sell and make it more. I think that is where everything started. And then from there, I was like, okay, at least I will tell my people, you can sell candles and make it. I was not going to sell candles, but I was like, at least if you can sell candles, there's something that you can sell, you can make it. So that I think that's the dream of starting a business, or the virus of business got me there. Yeah.
So, and I'm glad you mentioned like the Freedom House, because it sounds like they had a big impact on what made you even start this journey of entrepreneur in the United States, is because they gave you that program to actually learn about business, how to build a business. So it sounds like Freedom has played an important role on where you are today. Is that correct to say?
Yeah, absolutely. So I wouldn't be, it wouldn't be fair today to say that Freedom House didn't play the big impact on this success story because we started there. Our kids were born in the Freedom House. Our kids were born in the shelter, right? We got everything from the shelter: food, legal support, the shelter, everything from Freedom House, and that network of people who gonna take, hold your hand and show you this person gonna help you. So Freedom House played a big role, and Freedom House has been there for 40 years.
Wow.
You can imagine how many immigrants or how many Burundian or how many people from all over the world went through the program and what they became right now. So Freedom House, I'm so happy that I went through that program.
That's amazing. That's amazing to hear that there are actually organizations that's doing a lot of work to help the new incoming immigrants on how to adjust to the American lifestyle and really be part of the community where they are. So I just want to hear a little bit about, you mentioned that you met your wife here. The kids were born in a shelter and you came in 2 years later. You'd never seen your twin daughters. And now you're starting to notice things on how you can make an impact in Detroit by building a business. But did you automatically go right into working, into building your business? Did you do it while you were working? How did that work out in your household?
So after winning the contest, right, because we started with the business, I had this business idea. I went through a contest, and after winning the 50,000, I realized I was just coming from Burundi. I knew like, oh, this money is a lot of money. We're gonna just open the business next day. And then once I start, drafting my business plan, I realized this is only 10% of the money I have to raise to open the business that I wanted. I came home, I talked to my wife. I was like, hey, this is gonna take longer than expected. She was like, what you think, what you wanna do? I was like, I have to stop the job that I'm doing and dedicate my time on this business until we finish, because this is a full-time job. So like, it's gonna be tough. I was like, what do you think? And then she said, you know what, if it's something that you wanna do, I'm behind you. We're gonna have to, to tight ourselves to get there. But if it's something that you wanna do, I'm behind you, I'm supporting you. So I started working full-time on business. That's even myself, I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
I had that vision, was something that's a dream or something I wanted to do. Since that day, I started taking it seriously. Like, I have to work hard on this. Yeah.
So, and before we go too far, what was the job you had at the time before you actually devoted your time to your business?
So I was a driver. So the company I worked for, they have this concept where they could drive senior citizens to help them to do shoppings, medical appointments, some of that. So that was the job I was doing. I was, my why I chose that job, because my English was not that good at the time. I didn't know anything about this country. I was like, this is the only way I can integrate myself to the community. I chose that job so then I can start interacting with people. I can learn with people. Everything I was making at the time, there was a why I'm doing it, because I knew, like, if I have to, how I'm gonna know the language, the culture, just living with me and my wife in the house that we're living in. So like, I have to reach out to people to understand them, and then remember that time the United States was going through a lot of hate. We had a lot of hate, especially down river in Detroit. But I knew, like, let me go and see why these people are hating a lot of, why people are hating a lot immigrants. Why? What is that? So I knew that. I was like, let me go and see what they're, and I knew, like, it's not gonna be easy. One thing I learned was a misunderstanding who are immigrants. It depends how and where you grow up and what kind of information and news you have, absorbing. And then, that's helped me a lot. So that was my job.
Oh, that's awesome. And so once you had that conversation with your wife and she said, I'm behind you 100%, how do you then, there's no income obviously coming from you starting the business plan, trying to build on it. You haven't really been able to build anything successful at that time. How are you guys handling your day-to-day expenses while you're going through this process?
So you have to imagine. I remember some days we used to run. We used to, our expenses will go over, and then we will be minus 500 on our credit card. So it was a struggle. Honestly, it was a struggle. But again, we knew where we were going. It was like, we have to make these sacrifices right now. The little that we have, we could, use that little of income that we have to make it happen. Again, remember, always I used to say this, you can compare the life that we were living at that time compared to what Burundi, our siblings, our cousins, they were living. So we were still in comfortable life while living here. So that was one motivation. It's like, at least my kids are going to school. At least we have a roof. At least we can eat. So we have the minimum thing, right? So there was anything about, there was no anything to complain about. That was our motivation every time. When things goes wrong, we try to compare ourselves with 2 years ago. We didn't even have this. And that was the motivation pushing us, forward. And, we still have people back home who's struggling, and they have good jobs. They have good lives, but we still have better life than what they have. And there was nothing to complain about. That was one thing that helped us to look back and say, hey, at least we're in the United States of America.
There you go.
At least we are here. You know?
And I love the fact that you are just kind of comparing of the blessings that you have while you're here versus what you were living not too long ago, right? And that's a beautiful thing, because sometimes most of us that were immigrants here, you're trying to get to you're seeing yourself being at a certain level, and when you're not there, you really don't have the actual blueprint on how you're going to get there. So as you were going through this business journey, when you're trying to build your business, was Baobab Fare the original vision? Was it opening that restaurant? Was that like the original business plan?
Absolutely. So that's the plan. That's the dream I had, because I remember making my research about what kind of African restaurants I want to look like. I couldn't find any. I couldn't find any. And then everything I was seeing is like, no, this is not who we are. We are better than what I'm seeing right now. And that was my vision. My vision was to bring back and to put the respect on who we are. I wanted people to respect us. And then that is what? It's the services, branding, and how you tell the story of what you're trying to do. When people hear about, he's a refugee, he's an immigrant, they kind of underestimate who we are. For me, that was something I was like, no, I want to show you exactly who we are.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask then on that particular point there, where you want to show who we are, what was the first event you did where you showed who you were through your food?
So the first time, I think we were going through Hajj, the contest, and that was the first event, right? And then for us, the goal was to tell people to vote for us. Remember, my community couldn't even vote me, so I had to find another audience of people to vote me.
Right.
Everybody loved the food. In 30 minutes, we sold out. And people were still outside waiting, already bought a ticket, but waiting. And from there, I was like, there is something powerful here. That was like, this is who we are. This is who we are, the quality of it. And then at the time where we were cooking and how we were cooking was very unprofessional way, because we were cooking very small, batches of food. And people was like, this is the best food I've ever ate.
Wow. And who's cooking right now? Just give us the behind the scenes.
Just at that moment, it's Nadia, is my wife who's cooking. So I was just cutting onion and helping her, but she was the one behind everything.
Wow.
Yeah. And remember, we are living in an apartment. I think it was 1-bedroom apartment. We have 3 years old kids. You have food everywhere, hot pots everywhere. So what we could do, we took this bedroom, we locked in the kids so they cannot run around.
Wow.
We was hiding from the health department.
Yeah.
We're making food in our apartment, right? And
Yeah.
we're targeting to feed like 100 people. At that time, it was a big event for us.
Yeah.
It was something big.
So we gotta make sure we give this the right picture here. So it's you in an apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment with your 3-year-old daughters, and you cooking for about 100 people in that one apartment. Your wife, Nadia, is the one like cooking, you cutting onions, you're doing the prepping, and she's cooking.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, okay.
And then the stove we are using is electric stove. You know those stove?
Yeah.
So you can only put 1 pot. You can't even put 2 pots.
Yeah.
This is not gas stove. So this is electric.
Yeah.
You can only put 1 pot.
Yeah.
You can imagine how long it's gonna take to make beans.
And so what was the grand prize for this particular event?
So the grand prize was 50,000, and we're competing with more than 200 businesses, different businesses, not only restaurants.
Okay.
Different businesses in Detroit. So they have this program in Detroit. It's a program where every year a startup business will compete to win 50,000. It used to be 50,000, now it's 100,000. So 50,000, but it's a 1-month competition. So that's what we're going through.
Wow. So after that competition, it sounds like it was a boost of morale, right?
Yeah.
Like did you win the competition?
Yeah, we won the competition.
Wow.
And
you won over 200 businesses.
Won over 200 businesses. A shocking things I've ever seen in my life. We won that competition. Was at around 9 p.m. At 7 p.m. you have to be on the news live. I never been on TV in my life.
Yeah.
My English was still, and I have to be there. So everything is changing from there.
Okay.
And then from there, so that's how I saw like how powerful who we are, because people need us, because we're absent. We were absent. Immigrants, refugee, Burundian, we were absent. Nobody have heard about Burundi. What is Burundi? We were absent. Like, okay, interesting. So that means there is a place for us, and that was a boost.
Wow, that's amazing. So where does that take you next? You win the 50,000. Well, it's 50,000 that just came. You were not expecting right away.
Yes.
Where does your head go with? What are you going to do with this 50,000?
At that time, I was like, "This is a lot of money. This is enough money to open a brick and mortar."
Okay.
So I'm opening right now, but I realized no. So it's from how can I call it? It's from the emotions. You are so happy, and next day you become so disappointed and don't know what to do.
Because you found out of the actual cost.
The actual cost.
Yeah.
I don't have a credit score.
Yeah.
I never did business before. I don't have asylum. I don't have anything. How can I do this? So it's like, okay, the only thing I have is a community that we have in Detroit. I start reaching out to people. I was like, hey, we have this idea and we have 50,000. How can you raise 450?
Jeez.
And people start saying, you're not gonna do it. I was like, yeah, I know it's not easy, but at least give me a checklist. I can go to work on it. Every time I would be there, someone would say, yeah, I understand it's a lot of money, but what do I need to get there? They will give me a list of things to do. I will go and work on it, and come next day, I will give them. And I think that is what people in Detroit were very, impressed by. The amount of dedication and the commitment that we have put in. I will go and I will work on it. I will come back, because remember, this is my full-time job.
There's nothing. You're not doing anything else.
I'm not doing anything else. But I'm raising 450,000.
Okay.
That's my full-time job.
Yeah.
Is to raise 450,000.
Wow. And what is Nadia doing at this time?
She's working. She's a caregiver.
Wow. Okay.
She was a caregiver, and she was bringing a little bit of money at home.
Yeah.
And then again, me convincing her
Yeah.
was, hey, What do you think about, because I never made the connection with the kids, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about if you go to work so I can take care of the kids
At home.
at home?
Hmm.
She was that makes sense. So then we can connect, right? Because I missed a lot of time, so we can connect. And she was like, oh, that makes sense. You know, she's coming home, everything is ready,
Yeah.
lunch,
Yeah.
dinner, house is clean,
Hey.
kids are well. You know, she's
Hey,
like,
a lot of women would want to have you right now, man. I'm just telling you. Yeah. You ladies,
Yeah.
think about it. You got a man, he's at home. You come from work, you put your feet up, the food is ready, the kids are happy, everything is all good. That's amazing. But at the same time, you're working on your business while you also taking care of the kids.
Yeah, well, and then you remember, like, this was a long, you know, process, and there is a lot of things that I would hide from Nadia because there was a lot of, you know, there was a lot of challenges, there was a lot of things that didn't work out, and I would hide a lot of things from her because I didn't want to, you know, to scare her or to
Stress her out.
to stress out or to. I wanted to, like, she trusted me. I want to make sure, like, I'm not abusing anything from her. Yeah, we went through that, and we did it.
That's amazing. I mean, there's so many other questions I could say, but just because the time here, there's going to be a part 1 and 2 because this story is very valuable, in my opinion, to many people who will be following it. But so let's fast forward a little bit, right? You are trying to raise this 450,000. You are reaching out to whoever you can, anybody that's willing to hear you on what you need to do. You're asking for a checklist. Did anybody like give you the option of reach out to banks maybe to see if they can give you money? What was that process like?
So first of all, reaching out to bank was not possible because I didn't have a credit score. At that time, I never had business before. My background in business, you know, credit background, whatever, it was empty or zero. So nobody can trust me. I don't even have asylum at the time.
Right.
The only thing I can rely on, I have a work authorization, but I don't have a job. So whereas this program in Detroit is there is some different nonprofits that you could reach out to, and you tell them your project. If they trust you, they believe in your project, they're gonna finance that. But you can imagine, there's nothing that you guarantee them that the money gonna come back. And again, that is where I'm very, involved in building and giving back to the community in Detroit, because people who put pressure on those organizations, these people need to open this restaurant, because how many times they have shown you that they're willing, they're working hard. Just give them the chance. It was like a gambling. They did gamble on us. So that's why was going through. You can imagine a lot of pushback.
Yeah.
A lot of nons, a lot of impossible, answers.
Yeah.
But kept going back. I remember if you told me like, hey, I'm not gonna see you today, come back tomorrow at 7. I'll be there at 6. You come to the office, I'm sitting in the lobby waiting for you.
Yeah.
And that's happened to me like 4 or 5 times. This guy was seeing me all the time. I was like, excuse me, do you work here? I was like, no. Why I see you all the time here? I was like, because I've been waiting for someone who can talk to me all this time. What do you want? So I started explaining her. She was like, okay, come in my office.
Yeah.
And
this is it's an organization you are reaching out to?
Yes, this was an organization I was trying to reach out to, but nobody was. They was responding to my phone, but my emails, but after like 2 months, I couldn't get. And I went to see a friend of mine who was showing me the spot, the location that we are at. I was like, hey, someone is renting this spot. I was like, no, this is so good to be true.
Yeah.
It's like, no, just meet her. That's the one who changed everything. Her name is Somozi in Detroit.
Yeah.
I went to visit her. She was like, do you have money? I was like, yes, I do. How much? 50,000. What is your project? It's 500,000. How are you going to raise the other money? I was like, I don't know. That's why I'm here. You're going to help me.
Wow.
And everybody in the room
Yeah. Got quiet.
got quiet. I was like, who are you? How dare you? And I think she loved it. She called them. She's like, do you know this guy? He's like, yeah. Why you don't give him money? And then after, she was like, I'm going to help you to make this happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's where the 450.
So that's where the 450 came off. You know,
Yeah.
after that, we won another 10,000 from Good Food.
Yeah.
Another 5,000 from the city of Detroit, and then we got the loan of 300, almost 400 something from different organizations. And Somozi was the one behind to help to push, and the community too, because people put pressure on those people. Hey, why you don't give him money?
Wow.
Why do you don't give them money? They have to open that. Yeah.
So that goes to prove, like, when you build a strong community behind you, they're gonna do whatever is necessary to get more of what you're giving them.
Yes.
Right?
That is the secret.
Wow.
The key here is the community.
Yeah.
Is people who are behind. It's not how much money you have.
Yeah.
Until now, we don't have money.
Yeah.
Until now, on paper, everything that requires to get money in this country, we don't have any of those. But we have the community.
And when you say we don't have those qualifications, you're talking in terms of, like, in order to get money.
Yeah, from a bank.
From
right?
a bank. There's certain criteria you have to meet. And you didn't have that, and you don't have that up to now.
No, now we have it.
Now you have it. But
now we have it.
At that time when you were trying to get that money, you didn't have those.
I didn't have.
You were not meeting any of those criteria.
I was not meeting none of those, requirements.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That's a great testimony on the strength of a community, and also people believing in, and you believing in yourself. Walking in front of a powerful person like the lady you just mentioned, and being able to tell her, like, I'm here because I want you to help me.
Yeah. Again, remember, that strength that I had is because I didn't have plan A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah, just one plan.
I just have one plan. This have to work.
Wow.
And then most of the things that I've seen here, people get lost because they have a lot of choices. So try this, it's not working. Try this, it's not working. So that is where people get lost.
Yeah.
But once, or when you have only one option,
Yeah.
you're gonna make it happen. Remember, I got the trust from my wife. She's behind me. I cannot drop the ball, man. The only thing I have to do, I have 50,000 that I won. So if I don't open a business, I have to give that money back.
That was the condition of winning.
That was the condition of the 50,000. So you have to make it happen.
Sheesh. So let's talk about the location that you got, right? What were some of the struggles? And give us a time of when that was actually happening, where you got your location, you secured it. What happened when you actually, like, were trying to put it together, and some of the struggles that you went through with that building?
So we got the location. So we have to hire a designer, an architect to design the building, to design the vision that we have. You got that person doing the work. You have to hire a general contractor to start building. Nobody or no one wanted to do the work as a general contractor on this project, because everything we've been telling them, or was telling them at the time, was like, we got the money from grant. We are not working with normal banking. We are working with different organizations. We just came to United States. We don't have a green card. We don't have, at that time we had asylum, but we don't have a green card. We just came like 2 years ago. There's like, this sounds fishy.
Yeah.
You wanna screw us.
Yeah.
This sounds fishy. You wanna screw us. They didn't want to work on this project. So we have to find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people who is willing to work on this project.
Like people who can actually do the work, but they're not general contractors, your typical general contractors.
We did find one who was a general contractor, but for him he told me like right away, dude, I'm taking a risk to work with you.
Wow.
I was like, yeah, I'm gonna show you that I'm serious.
Yeah.
And then until now, he can tell you, I was the one who was paying him on time.
Out of all the contracts he has.
Yes. So he became my friend now. He
Yeah.
was working with big corporations.
Yeah.
I was like, I hate to work with big companies
Yeah.
because when you send them the invoice, you get paid after 2 months.
Wow.
But for you, by the time I'm sending the invoice, right away you're paying me.
Yeah.
You see, so he learned something from us too.
Yeah.
And then you can imagine from before that, so we have the community. So we were supposed to get the white box, and we paid already some money. So the one who was supposed to give us or to hand us the white box, he committed a suicide.
What is the white box for people who don't know?
So the white box is like when you have a commercial building. So you have to make sure like the business that's going on will go inside to rent out your space has at least water, electricity, and walls. That's why it's called white box. And then whatever you can put inside, so it's up to you. But there is a minimum requirement that you have to provide them.
Got you. Okay.
So that's what they were supposed, and then we already pay some money to do the work. And the guy was supposed to finish the work. He did commit the suicide, man.
Wow. What year is this?
This is just in COVID.
2020. Sheesh. So you're trying to open up a business right when COVID hits. And we know what happened with COVID. Everything shut down.
Yeah.
You have somebody who's supposed to do the job commit suicide.
Yeah.
What do you do next?
So at that moment, I was like, first of all, I have to convince Nadia. And then at that moment, honestly, I felt like for the first time, this project is not going to happen. This is the end of this project. You know, there is a lot of war I was trying to fight. I was trying to win psychologically. My mental was down. It's COVID. I was like, for the first time, I felt this is the end of this project. Because first of all, I'm going to tell Nadia, she's going to be so mad at me.
Yeah.
You know, I abused her. You know, trust. How can I do? And I remember when I talked to her. I was like, "Hey, babe, guess what? Mike died." I was like, "What? Yeah, what's happened?" I was like, "He committed suicide." The first thing she said is like, "Oh my goodness, I feel so bad for his family." I was like, at least you don't feel bad for our money. That's good.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. Okay.
In me, I was like, okay, yeah.
Oh, the family.
This is the family, okay. I said, yeah, you know, the family. But from there, I was like, okay, at least you don't care about our money. You care about his family. That's good. So then after a couple of days, Sue called me. He was like, hey, Mamba, I know what's happened. He's called, hey, I want to talk to you. I was shaking. I was like, man, what's going to happen? He's like, you know what? It's been 2 years and a half, almost 3 years. You're not opening. I need my space back.
Wow.
That's what I thought. That's like, I want to talk to you. I couldn't sleep that night. I went to talk to her. She was like, I know what happened to you. I know what you're going through. I'm going to pay you. I'm going to pay the money that he owes you to finish the work. I'm going to help you to
complete it.
To complete it. That was like
a relief.
A relief. I was like, what do you want more?
Yeah.
What do you want more?
So you got all the signs that this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes. And then we was trying to push harder, you know, through COVID. And we had a lot of expenses, you know, they support like PPP money, all the money that was, you know, trying to help small businesses. We were not qualified for those ones because our business didn't open before COVID, it was post-COVID. And we was not qualified. We had a lot of expenses. So we was like, we're gonna close our door before even we open. So we decided to open. Just
open it.
Just open it.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of expenses. We don't have dollars. It's been like 3 years now waiting for this to be done. So we have to open right now. And that's how we opened. And then after a couple months, people start, you know, coming, you know, curious people. What is this? What is East Africa? What is Burundi? Someone will be like, which part of Nigeria is this from? You know, those things, you know. you know, and then again, you can imagine there was a lot of, you know, education
That you had to do, yeah.
you have to educate people. Is this hot? So you don't know, is this the food is hot in spices? As not our food in East Africa is not hot in spices, but it has a lot of flavors, spices. You know, there's a lot of flavors. It's different. If you want the hot sauce, you can add. So we start, you know, educating people. How did you get here? You start telling the story, and people start relating to what we are doing. And yeah, that's the love that we've been having and getting from Detroit.
That's amazing. So officially, the restaurant hasn't been open since 2020?
2021.
2021.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So you right when they started reopening?
Yeah, that time we were like 30% capacity. Yeah. After we went through, after was 50% capacity, and then after that one was like only patio.
Yeah.
And then after that was only 100%. So we
went through it.
Yeah.
And what do you think is the secret to your growth? Other than community. So you have community is number one. What would you say number two is?
The secret of this success is the team that we are trying or we have built. Yeah, the team that relates and on now this business. That's how I feel like. I used to say, I started this business, Nadia joined, after the community joined. Now this business belongs to everybody.
Wow.
Yeah, there's decision that I would bring to the table, they will push them out. There's like, no. Yeah, so I feel like that's the secret, the team we have built and the trust we have putting into, into them. They're making decisions that sometimes I don't agree with this decision they're making. And I have to follow those decisions.
Yeah. And you respect the decision.
I have to respect those decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the team that we have built now is the secret. Yeah.
And so at what point, I know people are going to start thinking this, when did Nadia stop working?
Oh, just the first day that we opened.
The first day?
The first day.
She was like, that's it.
Yeah. It's like, she was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I can do halftime here, halftime. That's like, no.
Yeah.
Either you're in or you're out.
Oh, geez. So at this time, are you getting a check from anybody? Like,
no. So
you're not paid, you haven't gotten a check
I never get a check from anybody. We only have one check. It's coming from Nadia's work every 4 weeks.
So tell me, what was, did she, even though she wanted to do part-time, you convinced her like, okay, let's do it full-time. You're either in or out, right? And was there resistance?
So the resistance was before we opened the restaurant.
Yeah.
At this point, she was like, sometimes I feel like you are crazy, but I have to start believing you.
The craziness led you, it got you.
Yeah, she was like, I think like, I started like resisting, like, I don't think you're right, but now you have shown me that you were right. It's just like, no, you're not gonna give it as you should if you don't commit to it. Just come in.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's do that.
At this point now, she's stopped working. There's not going to be another check.
There's not going to be another check.
So you're just going in full time?
Just going full time. That's have to be. And I remember she was like, okay, she told her clients, I was like, I have to stop this. She was like, are you sure? Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a commitment. You have to go in.
All the way in.
Yeah.
All right. So now you are both going in full time. And this is going to lead to where everybody kind of got to know you, right? This is the exciting part, where you get a phone call. I don't know if it's a phone call or email, but somehow you end up in one of the shows that's followed quite a lot for people who love food, who love watching a lot of these new reality shows that are happening around food. And this is an American show. It's called Chopped. Did you receive an email or call? How did they reach out to you?
So this was an email. This was a call.
Okay.
And then I thought it's a scam, right?
Yeah.
This one is trying to scam me.
Yeah.
And then this was after being the best new restaurant in the country. They called, and I was like, maybe this is a scam. I was like, can you send me an email so then I can double check this is the right one? They sent me an email, and I was I came home because right away, if he's coming, it's Nadia who have to go. She said no.
Oh, why does Nadia have to be the one to
Because she's the one who's behind all the recipes that we have at Baobab Fare.
go? Okay.
Yeah.
So what's that conversation?
I can cook.
Yeah.
I'm a good cook. I'm a good chef.
Yeah.
But my job was not cooking. My
Yeah.
job was now that she can make something, so I can decide what is going to the menu.
Yeah.
So I can design the recipe to the menu.
Yeah.
But all these recipes has.
Yeah.
All these things is hard. So I'm the one who's behind, like, architect. And she's the builder.
Mm.
So this competition, you have to go and cook.
Yeah.
I'm not the one.
Yeah.
And I convinced her. She said, no, I don't want, I cannot do that. That's a lot of stress. I cannot handle those things.
Mm.
And I was like, yo, this is one unique opportunity you're not gonna get again in your life.
Yeah.
I know I'm not gonna win this.
Yeah.
Let me just go and tell about the restaurant, about my culture, about my story, about Detroit, about Burundi. That's all.
Yeah.
That's the reason that I went.
Yeah.
I got there. The first day, I did the biro. I made the ugali and the fish.
So a B-roll, for people who don't understand, is just like a short video of what it is you're presenting for them to actually see what you got, right?
Exactly. And then that's where there is no stress. It's yourself. It's the recipe that you picked up. It's the recipe that you tried many times at home. So I'm very confident, but that is my day.
Yeah.
That day is what I'm coming to do. I went there to do that.
Yes.
Because this is a day that I'm gonna be in front of the camera, without sweating, without stress, without anything. So I'm gonna tell everybody who I am. And then I remember my driver was like, dude, if you made the same food tomorrow, you're gonna win this. I'm like, no way.
So did the driver taste it?
Yes, everybody make food, enough food for everybody who was
on the
there.
set.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they said we have like 8 people, so I made enough food, so everybody enjoyed it. Next day, so that was a competition.
Wow.
I went to the competition just to be there.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna be disqualified from the first round.
Yeah.
And then I passed that round. I went to the second round. The second round, I was like, I'm very confident. Burundian food, it's entree every time. There is no dessert, there is nothing.
Yeah.
So it's entree. I was very confident. If it's entree, I'm gonna kill it.
Right.
I did it. That's our best meal.
Yeah.
I'm in the final now. I was like, if I made from first round to second round, why? I should make this happen.
Right.
So that has built a lot of confidence in me.
Yeah.
And then if you see even the show, I was a little bit shy starting.
Yeah.
And then after that, I took over.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was those things like, just try it. And then you see it, oh, it's possible.
Right.
And I'm competing with chefs who has background in kitchen experience, who have done this before. And then after I won. So I'm winning. And then I'm asking myself, it's 10,000. They're asking me, it's 10,000. What you gonna do with this money?
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't come here to win. I didn't expect this money. What can I do? I was like, I live a very comfortable life now, but there is someone who doesn't have what I have.
Okay.
So in 1 second, the answer came as like, I'm giving this money to Freedom House. I don't know why.
That was your automatic thought. Like,
Yes.
I'm just giving it away to Freedom House.
Just I'm giving it. But the only thing I was like, I didn't come here to win. I didn't expect this.
You were not
Already-
expecting to win at all.
Yes, I didn't expect this to win. I'm on national television.
Yeah.
This is enough.
Right. You exposed your story, you
Yes.
exposed the restaurant.
My mission that I came to do here is over.
Yeah.
And then now I'm getting extra. Do I need really this one? No, I have to give it. It's like I'm gonna give this money to a charity.
Wow. And you give it away to Freedom House.
I give it out to Freedom House, and then I came home. I found out Freedom House has more problems than what I was trying to give them. And right away, I started a campaign to raise 120,000 to build a kitchen. It's a shelter that have made who we are today. They don't have a kitchen, and we live very comfortable life. We have great kitchen. We have all those things we can an immigrant. I was like, let's do a campaign. So we started a campaign. It's doing well. People are exciting. People are donating.
Wow. And so your goal is 120,000. You gave your 10,000.
Yeah.
Where are we today?
So today we are doing different events now, different dinner to raise more money. And I think we are almost around, we have raised around 80,000 or 90,000, around there. I'm not sure, I'd have to check.
Yeah.
But that's where we are. We are almost there.
So we're not that far away from that goal.
We're not that far away from the goal.
And the kitchen is going to help many, many immigrants that's going to come through Freedom House.
The kitchen is going to help many, many immigrants and refugees who's coming through Freedom House. And the kitchen will help. So the goal here, we're trying to also involve other nonprofits to help them, to train them, so they can be cooks and they can get a job easily. You come in this country, you never cook on a stove, gas stove.
Yeah.
You never use gas electricity. You never use microwave. You never use all those things. It's intimidating. So this is we want to initiate them to, this is a new way to initiate people, to expose them to this life in America. They're starting there, train them. How do you cook on a stove? How do you clean, vegetables? How do you clean sometimes meat? All those things that we don't know. We don't grow up with those things.
Yeah.
How many Burundian, how many times you eat meat at home?
Yeah,
once in a
true.
month.
Yeah. On occasion, big events.
Big events occasionally. So that's why we're trying to, help people through the kitchen, to start expose them to these things. This is the tools or things they're going to be using all the time.
Right.
Because we want to try to have programs that can help them from there.
That's beautiful. So, and we're going to put the link. So if anyone is watching this video, we ask that you please share this link that's going to be in the description for the fundraising for Freedom House. If you're an immigrant or not a non-immigrant, or somebody could be born here in the United States, but really can connect with what Mamba is trying to do for Freedom House, please, whatever you can, whether you donate $1 or you donate $10,000, or you share the link with your family and friends, that will go a long way, because what your $1 will do will impact a whole family that's coming into the United States for the first time and going through the process that Mamba went through and really try to meet their American dream, or just living a life that's comfortable. They all have to go through a process, which Mamba kind of described, of learning new things, adapting to the American lifestyle. And, by you donating, you're really kind of having an impact on somebody's life as you donate or share the link to the donation. So I want to close it out with this and just ask you this last question. What is Mamba? So Mamba sounds like you have a big vision for what you want to achieve with Baobab Fare. So where are we? Where are you thinking Baobab Fare to be in the next 5 years?
So the next 5 years, it's especially this year, we was trying to understand where we're going, what direction that we're taking. So Baobab Fare has a food truck and a street food concept, Waka. Baobab Fare has a market, online market, which is called Soko and Baobab Fare. So our goal in 5 years is to finish up and building our own space, second location. We just bought a building. We're building up the second location. And then the goal here is to start Soko and highlight other businesses from Burundi or from Africa. They can sell through our channel, and we have to highlight them. They tell people who are they. So very transparent a concept, to where they know that's where we're going. That's where we are going. That's where we see ourselves. Then to have a storefront as a market, so we can have this product that is made from Africa, and we can give them the chance to highlight and to sell to in the state. That is where I'm seeing myself in 5 years. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And we look forward to that growth. I feel like I've been stalking you just watching like every step, every article that comes out, every podcast that you do. So I'm really honored to have you here on my YouTube channel to share your story, because I think our community, I'm of course from Burundi as well, needs to hear your voice, needs to see what you have accomplished, some of the things you're going through and have gone through, and as well, just inspire the next person that comes along with that dream and just kind of sticking to it, like not giving up on whatever that plan is and growing it the way you have blossomed with Baobab Fare. So big congratulations to you and the family for doing everything that you're doing. We spent a great weekend together here. We are in Kentucky, where there are loud cars, for confirmation. And I couldn't bypass this moment of being in the same space with you and not being able to have this moment of talking and connecting with not just me, but the people who are viewing this. And the last thing I want to ask, because I know there's some people who are probably going to watch this and say, hey, I'm in Detroit. You gave the address at the beginning, but what about that food truck? Where can they catch that food truck?
So the food truck, now we are building another kitchen that's going to serve like chapatis. So the concept for food truck is chapatis. And that concept is we are building the kitchen, it's going to be ready. And the food truck can be everywhere, mostly the games. We are at Eastern Market Tuesday and Sundays, every DCFC game, Detroit Football Club game. We're trying to be, different events, weddings, birthdays, graduations, different events. But we have one location that's gonna serve this same food. And this is a dairy-free innovative society. And then the goal here is to highlight and to host other businesses. And that's something we've been doing at Baobab Fare. We close Mondays and we give our space for different businesses for free. We host one business every month to do a pop-up at the restaurant. That's how we started, and that is something that we want to do. If you're in another state, another country, you like to cook or you're a cook, come over and we can have a pop-up at the restaurant.
All right, you heard it. Everyone that's been dreaming of opening up a restaurant, a food truck, you have a space to use on a Monday, and it's a location that everyone in Detroit knows. And I'm going to let you know, everyone that's following me, I've been to the restaurant, and I'm telling you, once you walk in, if you are from Burundi, you're going to recognize a lot of little tiny details that will tell you that this is a Burundian-owned restaurant. I'm not going to reveal what it is, but as soon as you walk in, there's little details that an average person is not going to recognize, but somebody who's from Burundi will understand what that is. The staff is amazing. And when Nadia is there, it's amazing. And if Mamba is there, it's amazing. And he did create a dessert. Oh my God. Anyways, in Burundi, we know we don't have our own dessert, quote unquote. But Mamba has created a dessert. And I'm not going to reveal what that is because I want you to go and actually taste it. Just let them know that Tuguma sent you and they'll take great care of you. They take care of you like you feel like you're in a home. It's not a restaurant. It's like a home, because that's the type of energy you get when you walk in. And the food is delicious. So with that being said, Mamba, thank you so much for being here. Let people know how they can follow your restaurant or whatever social media that you want them to follow, so that way they can keep up with what's going on.
So our Instagram is Baobab Fare. And from there, you can see Waka by Baobab Fare or Soko by Baobab Fare. You can find us there, or you can go to baobabfare.com and you can see all the 3 brands that we have. Amazing, amazing. So thank you so much for coming through. I can't wait to come back, and I'm bringing the whole family to get some more of that food. And with that being said, everyone, peace out. Thank you for tuning in. And of course, if you enjoyed this show, tell me what you think in the comments. All comments are welcome. Who you want to see next. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can see more stories like this. All right, tribe, appreciate you. We are out.